What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about 4 different crypto mining stocks today. We're going to talk about CleanSpark, Marathon, IREN, and BTBT at the request of Flower Child and Cow. Let's get into this, you guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Oh, God. My head is so shiny. I think if I was a bald guy, man, I'd be one of those guys that has like a reflective head. Basically, I'm bald, right? But anyways, enough about me. Let's get into the charts here. You can see that based on my hairline, right? We've got a 618 retracement up back to the 100 level. We might get a 1618 extension going back to the back of the scalp. But anyways, 1139 right now is where we're at for CleanSpark. From a high to a low, we have moved. Nope, that's not what we're looking for. Let's see. High to a low. Yeah, went up to your 382, and you've been consolidating around there, guys. This is a really bullish look. Your daily RSI looks very damn bullish. Nice higher low action going on there. I drew a very well straight line right there. That's a pretty good straight line. If you've been watching the channel, you know I struggle with drawing straight lines. I normally have to do 2 or 3 takes. Sometimes I don't even get it right after that. But damn, man, it actually looks that's pretty good. But beyond that, the higher lows look pretty good too in the RSI. Definitely at an area where you found resistance before. You could find support here now. Overall, the daily RSI does look bullish, and I really love this consolidation right around the 382. I think that is key. I think that's really nice. Normally what you do is you go up to your 382, you pull back to your 236, and that could happen. But when you consolidate around the 382 like this, generally you just like shoot right up to that 61869. And in situations like this, I would say not only would I expect you to hit the 6.9, but I expect you to break through it. You could even go all the way up to your 7.86, and that kind of makes sense, right? Because if you look at this for what it is, the 7.86 right here is kind of at the top areas of these price resistance points there. And what you would do essentially is you would move up, break into this area of consolidation, and generally speaking, when you break into an area of consolidation, you don't stop partially through it, halfway through it. You normally go to the top areas of it, right? Not always. It's just a good rule of thumb, but it doesn't always happen. It doesn't mean that it's broken if it doesn't, but moving up to these top areas where we found resistance at before, the kind of the resistance zone of this consolidation point, again, lining up with that 786 area here from a high to a low, it kind of makes sense to me. So I think I am going to make that call. It's like 1960. You're at 1140 now. I think you're going to make a very fast move. I don't believe you'll be at 1950, 1960 by the end of October. But before we're halfway through November, right? Like let's say before the 20th of November, maybe okay, the 15th. We'll say halfway. Before the 15th of November, I think you'll be up there. Time will tell. Watch it not be the 15th and it's like the 18th or the 20th, whatever. But close enough, somewhere around there. Maybe not the first week, maybe the second week, if not the third week. I think that we'd be up in these areas. Okay, so that's CleanSpark, looking good, looking frisky. By the end of the year, we're hoping for new all-time highs. I was thinking that we'd be up at this area by the end of the year, but it could be maybe we're at like this, maybe we're at $33 by the end of the year, but we don't complete the move until very early next year. I really do expect, regardless of where we are by the end of the year, I expect that the end of this move will take us right around $50. Okay, we're at 1139 now, so whether it's at the end of the year or the very beginning of next year, $50 is upon us. That's our next area that I'm expecting us to go to. Marathon is the next one here. 1706 right now, crowding this 123 moving average, finding a nice little area of support there, an area that was finding resistance prior to this, right? It definitely looks healthy in my opinion. The weekly RSI does look a little bit weak, but overall, when you look at when you look at it like this, it looks kind of weak, to be fair. When you look at the big picture, it's a very constructive and bullish looking RSI, finding support in the right areas. We would just like to see this thing get not only above the 60, but getting into the overbought zone. Hopefully we're doing that. If we're looking at the daily here, again, just kind of like CleanSpark, very bullish looking RSI. Those lines aren't as straight. I can't be perfect all the time. In fact, I think that was just a one-off. But anyways, volume is picking up a little bit as you're moving down, but you haven't really moved down too much, right? You're not like dramatically lower than these lows over here, than like the lows that you saw 2 days ago. So I'm not worried about it at all. It does look like you had a little bit of a fake out, I will say. That's kind of what it looks like. Let's see if we get a high here to that high. That's not the high I was going for. It'd be that high. Yeah, it's not really anything. I don't know. Should I take the daily closing high maybe to that daily? No, it wouldn't do so. So I don't know. I'm not nothing there. Who cares? Let's see. It's just like a really ugly fit. It kind of reminds me of Bitcoin Cash, right? You've got like this flat area of resistance. You've looked like you were breaking out, and then you came back into it. Like that, it's just so lame. But to be fair, where you are in the daily RSI, I would expect you bounce here. So I think if not tomorrow, if not Monday, I would expect you start moving up next week. Yeah, like if you move down from here, maybe you go as low as $16, maybe, but you might not even. That's not promised. You're at 17 now. The risk of downside is absolutely blocked, or not blocked. I don't know what's the right word. Eclipsed. It's negligible compared to the amount of upside you have, right? And this isn't even all of it, right? You've got off the charts stuff to come, right? If we're looking at the weekly RSI here, you got above the 50, got a little bit below it, but you could be finding support here. It's totally fine. You've actually done stuff like this before when you were getting ready to move up from a high to a low of this consolidation range. Going from your 382 to your 236 is actually a pretty common thing. So again, if you move down a little bit to $16.50, $16, those amounts are going to be completely like minor compared to the amount of upside you go, right? I really do believe that your next move up is going to be something around $24 to $25, let's say, $23.70 to $25.40 to be more accurate. And then in time, again, just like CleanSpark, maybe not by the end of the year, but by the end of this move, I would expect $44 to $61 to come into play. If you were to be at either of these, any of these targets by the end of the year, I would think it's like $44 personally. But when Marathon likes to move, when it comes to breaking out, Marathon really does move up pretty fast. So even in its bear cycles, it moves up pretty fast. So it's been moving sideways for a very long time now. When we break out of this, when this shell cracks, it's going to be phenomenal. You're going to see a very fast movement up. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be above this price, above what price is that? $34 by the end of the year. But again, I don't know. I have no problem calling for that, but I don't know if you'll be at like $50, $60 by the end of the year. Something around 40 or higher I could see by the end of the year. But time will tell. It just depends on how fast this thing moves, but it's definitely going to move. It's definitely going to break out, and I think it's going to break out to the upside. And when that happens, it's going to be fast. So we're just waiting, man. We're waiting. Like a lot of crypto-based things right now, we've been consolidating for a long time, right, in a rather large area of consolidation, and relatively in a short amount of time, a much tighter area of consolidation. You break this, it's going to lead to a move that'll help you break this, which will lead to a move that takes you to your new cycle highs. Not new all-time highs, just new highs for the cycle is what I mean. Inevitably, I do believe Marathon will see new all-time highs. It's just a matter of time. It's just by the end of this cycle, right? Anyways, that's what I got for Marathon. Iron. 925 right now. Monthly RSI looking good, bro. Monthly RSI is looking fresh. Weekly RSI looks even better. Very, very bullish weekly RSI. Yeah, man, you're getting into the points where this thing is going to rip. It's going to rip real hard. And you're going to see from this high here to this low, you're going to see a move that takes you up to like $20, $30, something like that. Based off of these highs that we've got going on here, you know, something like more or less like this. I don't know. Like if it's that exact area, maybe I should draw it. I just can't get it to hit that high, can I? That high over there. Maybe we only do hit the $20 area. Maybe we go all the way up to $28. But if we were to follow this trajectory, that would be in like June of next year. And I don't think it takes that long for this to happen. I really do think that as much of like an ascending trend line as this could look to be, I think that we'll break out of it. I think we'll start to get some separation away from these highs and start to move higher. I really do believe this next move is going to take us near, if not to, new all-time highs. If it doesn't take us to new all-time highs, it's going to be very near that area, which is at like $28 to like $25, something like that. And again, if we look at this relative high here to this relative low, $20, $28.50, we could move even higher than that, you know. So time will tell, but iron looking fierce. It's at 925 now. Big things are coming over the weeks, over the months. And again, I would say just like Marathon, just like CleanSpark, I would expect you're at new new highs relative to the cycle by the end of this year, but I don't think you'll be at the high of your move. I think the high of these moves for these mining stocks will actually come in January. That's kind of my thoughts. It's not like January. It's not like that's where they've topped off before. I mean, maybe, I don't know, like December here. This one actually topped off in December, not January. This one topped off in July. It's not like that's what I'm basing it off of. It's just that seems appropriate based on the amount of time it takes to move up, based on when I think that these things are actually going to start moving up, right? Not this week, probably not next week, but maybe the week after. That's when we're really going to start getting things going. But it could be any week now. It could be any week, and it really does depend. Maybe I'm underselling these things. Maybe they move up a lot higher in a lot shorter of amount of time, but time will tell. Anyways, that's iron. Who cares about the maybes? Let's talk about BTBT now. Bit Digital for Flower Child. Long consolidation phase, right? BTBT, I don't know. It almost kind of looks like the Jesus fish, doesn't it? I drew like the tails kind of that way, right? Maybe I can do that again. Let's see. Something like that. I don't know. Anyways, BTBT, consolidating, chilling. Weekly RSI looks that the weekly. I'm just so surprised, man, because the weekly RSI really does look bullish, but your price action is just so neutral, so neutral. I think you're going to break this time. I really do think you're going to move up higher this time, and the best thing to kind of go off of there, I suppose, would be from this high of the range to this low of the range. I think we could expect to see a price at 710 to 1038, and potentially even higher, like genuinely potentially even higher. Let's look at the overall with this one. From an overall high to the low of this bear cycle, right? Your expected range from this high to this low, your expected extension is 710 to 1038. The 1414 and the 1272 fall right in this zone of the golden ratio of the all-time high to the cycle low there. So 681 to 917, that area definitely comes into play. 681, 917, 710, 830, anything and everything in between those, right? Your 886 lining up very well with the 2272, 2618 lining up very well with the 100. With how you've been, I would expect that BTBT finds resistance in this zone, but time will tell. It's definitely moved fast in the past, even from these like similar areas. You've moved like right on up to 33 bucks. So who am I to say that that couldn't happen now? It absolutely could. But based off the fibs, there's a lot of significant resistance, a lot of like golden ratio things going on in the zone between about 1040 to 681. So I think that isn't something to just be looked over. But if we do, man, if you do break right through that, you'd probably move right up to 22 bucks, 21 bucks. And if you do that, BTBT really stands a chance of seeing prices like above 100 bucks by the end of this cycle, right? I think it does, even if it doesn't do that, it definitely stands a chance still, but it would just look really good if you shredded this 618 zone on this next attempt up. And I do think you'll at least interact with it. So 681 to 917, actually let's say 681 to 1038 is the target area. You're at 393 now. Let's see how that goes. Those are targets for the end of the year, right? We'll see how it goes. I just want to do this real quick. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe you do just rip on through. What's another one that we could do real quick? High to low. Something like that. Break out. That kind of makes more sense, yeah. Maybe you do break right above $10, but that might be where you find resistance momentarily. So $3.93 now, a move up to, I would probably guess around $10 is where you're going to go. And then we can reevaluate from there. I got nothing else I want to say. If you guys like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content. I'm going to go to bed. Take care. Bye-bye.